Shalom, Alpha Kuabo. Shalom to the entire melanated family across the world. My name is Commander Bishop, and I'll be reading a statement directly from the lips of our beloved Supreme Commander, Dr. John Fitzgerald Johnson, also known as the Grandmaster Judge. As previously promised, the following are the facts surrounding the present condition of your loved Dr. John F. Johnson, aka the Grandmaster J. This information was withheld from the public for security reasons before the fact that now it can be revealed after the fact. It will put several actions in perspective as well as give guidance on future expectations of efforts needed to work toward his eventual release to society. Understanding the events that unfolded were neither nor known or nor foreseen at the time of his sentencing or appeal. In April of 2023, Mr. Johnson was identified by the Bureau of Prisons medical staff of having an irregular heartbeat, very high blood pressure, and elevated cholesterol levels that warranted further testing by non-Bureau of Prison professional cardiologists at a civilian medical facility. These tests were conducted between June and August of 23. Each progressive evasive test revealed a deteriorating heart condition, stroke level, blood pressures, and a misfiring heart rhythm. This was not a pre-existing condition. Mr. Johnson was treated with a host of prescribed medications which had no impact on reducing or mitigating these conditions. In August of 2023, Mr. Johnson was informed by this cardiological team that his life expectancy was 24 months based on his current and projected condition. This information was delivered to him in the presence of Bureau of Prison officials at the civilian hospital. At this time, he was informed there would be a need to have a series of heart and vascular operations performed in order to save his life. Each operation's necessity was dependent on the success of the previous. Mr. Johnson agreed to proceed with the medical procedures. While all of this was unfolding, the appeal of Mr. Johnson's federal conviction was working its way through the Sixth Circuit of Appeals and was due to be heard in October of 2023. Simultaneously, efforts to secure a commutation of Mr. Johnson's sentence was also being worked through the White House and the office of the pardon attorney, but could not be acted upon until the appeal process was concluded. This medical development was unfolding simultaneously. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed Mr. Johnson's sentence on October 23rd, 2023. This opened the door for the request for commutation application to be forwarded to the White House. However, before the trigger could be squeezed on that action, Mr. Johnson underwent the first operation on November 6, 2023, under secure conditions. A request that the Bureau of Prisons initiate a motion for compassionate release was submitted on November 15, 2023. Please know that under current law, if the Bureau of Prisons fail to answer this request within 30 days, then Mr. Johnson can petition the courts directly. Mr. Johnson was allowed 5 weeks to recover from this first procedure and to prepare for the second, more major operation, which involved open heart surgery. Only a very small circle of people were aware of this. On December 18, 2023, Mr. Johnson was securely transported to a major medical facility that specializes in cardiology, where open heart surgery was performed to repair and replace the failing parts of his heart. This was very invasive and very intense, and that required Mr. Johnson to be placed in intensive care for a few days. However, the operation was successful, and Mr. Johnson regained consciousness and began the long process of healing and therapy, which will take a few months. However, the aftercare level of maintenance that Mr. Johnson will require for the rest of his life is not available within the Bureau of Prison system, which has been publicly criticized for its poor quality of health care due to personnel shortages in the facilities. Although one would think that someone in Mr. Johnson's condition would be transferred to a Bureau of Prisons medical facility, after leaving the hospital, he was in fact returned to his original institution to recover. The medical staff is doing what they can under the circumstances, and they're even questioning this move. However, on November 1st, 2023, the United States Sentencing Commission published into law new provisions that expanded the medical grounds for compassionate release and reduction of sentence motions, which could be filed with the courts. Multiple compassionate releases have been granted by the courts across America in wake of these new guidelines. Mr. Johnson is a prime example of why this law was enacted, and a motion for his compassionate release can now be drafted as you read this, since a 30-day window for the Bureau of Prison response has passed as of December 15th, 2023. In closing, while other actions in this fight are still relevant, this action takes precedence and should be given your full support. Mr. Johnson's recovery and rehabilitation therapy comes within the confines of the Bureau of Prison system, but his long-term aftercare would be best served under the care of his own physician and loved ones. These are the details surrounding the health situation of Dr. John F. Johnson. Consider yourself now informed. Your responses about the next step and ways you can assist are welcome. At this time, your cards and well wishes for his continued recovery would be most uplifting and well appreciated. And you all can go to the GoFundMe, and we'll give this information out where you can mail these things in case you don't know. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you very soon. And I love you all.
Wow.
Shalom.